Why does desire desire its own repression? Why does desire desire its own repression? A gig brand. Why does desire desire its own repression? 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 Amloski, Agun, Tan, Ag, Jui, Agun, Tan, Agurs, Agerd, Amloski, Sloskarnog. Burn! Why does desire desire its own repression?
At the end of the day, we have been working with the river a lot. We access the river, and for me, some of the interesting, observations with regard to the river were that the urban people, especially in Guwahati, hardly access the river. They don't have, much of a relation. It's such a magnificent body in the middle of the city, and nobody seems to be accessing it. Yeah, one is, how do you relate to these natural bodies and what is happening? So we started with this question of whose river is it anyways, and slowly we started traveling in our first trip the north bank of the river, which is also quite interesting because there is some kind of a divide between the north part of the river and the south. So we went all along the north bank. When we went to their villages, we were like completely amazed because here you don't see so much cultivation in a similar way, but there you would reach these small islands and there was abundant cultivation. When you talk to some of the leaders, there is a lack of self-confidence in that sense, and they would say that but we are so backward, and look at people that they're probably doing cultivation on the moon now and we are still here.
Conceptual suicide of a boat or a ship. There can only be a new ship like the ship Argo from the ancient Greece mythology, which is a ship built out of different parts from all over the Mediterranean and the mythological world of ancient Greece, and it's still the same ship, but it's a new ship out of completely new parts, no part consisting in the old ship. But the same ship is not the same ship. It's a different ship. It's a new ship. And this ship we must find.
মাজুলী এখন নদীদ্বীপ কবিতাৰ স্বাগতম হে মোৰ দেশৰ কবিসকল, নিমন্ত্ৰণ নাপালেও আহিবা চন। যেনেদৰে কবি নৱকান্ত বৰুৱা আহিছিল, পাৰিলে পৰত ঋতুৰ আহিবা। ৰূপালী এখন ফেৰীৰে আহি থাকোঁতে ফেৰীৰ পৰিচালকজনে ক'ব, শাৰী শাৰী ৰঙা শিমলুবোৰ ৰূপালী হৈ গ'ল। শাৰী শাৰী চাংঘৰবোৰ অহৰি হৈ গ'ল। হে মোৰ প্ৰাণৰ কবিসকল, আজিয়েই লিখিব পৰা জীৱনৰ বিষাদময় কবিতাটো, আজিয়েই অনুবাদ কৰিব পৰা চৰাইৰ গানবোৰ, দুৱাৰ নথকা ঘৰবোৰৰ পৰা নামি আহিব বুকৰ কাবাৰ। তেওঁলোকে তোমালোকৰ বাবে বিয়ৰত তিতিব, জোনাকে বিদ্ধ কৰিব তেওঁলোকৰ অতীত আৰু ভৱিষ্যত। সেয়ে মোৰ প্ৰাণৰ কবিসকল, কবিতাৰ দেশলৈ আহিছা, চাই যোৱা মোৰ আত্মাৰ ছবিবোৰ, আৰু মই দাবী কৰিম তোমালোকৰ কবিতাত অকা স্কেচবোৰ মোৰ আৰ্হি।
Mix zili zili ko, mix zili zili ko, at zili punago, ayro vai pamanamo, mix zili punmaboy. Oilo dunka ke konol, ngowa dunka ke konsa, ngowa dunka ke konsa, malama be kumala. Ayro vai pamanamul poka pisul kabduna oya tolo barta barbeng ma aino balo katom kabeng ma Pakna moirenze pa aina ngowa bukan buyana.
When I was born, my mother said, "You are a refugee." Our tent on the roadside smoked in the snow. On your forehead, between your eyebrows, there is an R embossed. My teacher said. I stretched and scrubbed. On my forehead, I found a brush of red paint. I'm born refugee. I have 3 tongues. The one that sings is my mother tongue. The R on my forehead, between my English and Hindi, the Tibetan tongue reads Rangzen. Freedom means Rangzen.
We know that most of you have, made really long journeys to come here and taken all kinds of transport, and you're coming from different parts of the country, and so thank you so much. We're really happy to have you here. We've been working really hard to get all of this done.
We found ourselves on a boat on Brahmaputra near Guwahati, and we started assembling. This is basically idea of this friendship.
You to repeat yourself, but I wanted to understand what you meant by trans-indigeneity and how you understand the term indigenous as well. I just want to understand how you imagine that and all of the variables within that concept, how you're thinking about it.
We as artists have connected between ourselves, like we were anti-capitalist artists, and all of a sudden we realized that we are not alone as anti-capitalist artists, but we are just all these movements. So the indigenous movement, it doesn't have this option of the flying on the magic carpet of a movement that is happening now, because Occupy movement is not happening now in that phase. So we can only create a trans-indigenous movement by meeting each other in those hotspots.
Till 1886, there was a confusion where from the Brahmaputra flow, the origin of Brahmaputra. The people think that Subansiri was the Brahmaputra at that time. So later on, the confusions went out, and suddenly after independence lots of floods happened to our area. Flood was one of the basic adaptive capability phenomenon for our peoples. We live with floods. Our culture, identity, our agroeconomy, everything was actually very close to our flood cycles. But suddenly people used to thought that flood is a very bad thing. We need to prevent flood. So in 1960, the Bar Ayog comes out and they propose lots of embankment in Kosi basins, in Assam, Dhubri and Karimganj. So as a part of this flood mitigation plan, including this embankment, 3 big dams they planned in Arunachal Pradesh.
Gwir yn ymgyweirio. Hynny wylech chi'r haul yn hwylio awyr. Hynny wylech chi'r sir wedi syrthio. Can you not see the sun at swim in the sky? Can you not see that the stars have fallen? Hello. I'm a poet from Wales, and I agree. We must respect tradition, and this is a tradition where I come from in Wales.
Fire is ready to burn.
So, like, fire is warm, fire heats us. Fire is passion.
Oli saddfrys sydd â fod eicent o dicaf, llys barwn, lle syberwyd, lle daw, berdd amer, lle a byd, gwawd bywyd fawr, beth bai gofynes gwyl o fynaig. Och faer fyw farw yn ferch fwyn, och anyn a chawn unau yn dydd farw ein dau. Tan. They come like fate without reason, consideration or pretext. They come like fate without reason, consideration or pretext. In some way incomprehensible.
Fire gives you the power to get over renew. There's no better compass than ours.
Subordinated political aims, assemblages, in other words, the cutting edges of decoding and deterritorialization. Fantastic forms corresponding to those breakthroughs, the vital forms of non-organic life. There at the shore of the sea, at the base of the mountain, they encountered a great wall of granite. They all entered the granite, the shadows they lived, loved, worked, died, were born, and 3 or 4 centuries afterwards they came out again, leagues away, having traversed the mountain. From the standpoint of the state, the originality of the man of war, his eccentricity, necessarily appears as a negative form. Stupidity, deformity, madness, illegitimacy, usurpation, sin.
He knows it, Salah.
I'm relaxed. The question is therefore the realization of war and the appropriation of the machine is the same
Assembly of Desire has been an extraordinary, eccentric, and extravagant celebratory form of an ecological grief. It can be considered an art form that has emerged during the climate catastrophe, has happened in a unique hybrid format between an exhibition and a conference inside an artwork, which entangles the contemporary art with the indigenous knowledge of the equilibrium with nature. Assembly of Desire has been replacing the common paths of the imperial silkways. It has offered us alternative cultural politics, proposing that knowledge is related to our geopolitical stance. Therefore, the Assembly of Desire has served as an excellent topos for uniting different environmental movements and people burning for the revolution, for the beauty, and for the freedom of expression of desire. Thank you.